Welcome to the Vibrant Life podcast. This is the official podcast of the Vibrant Life community. I'm Sarah Nolan, a burnout prevention and energetic management consultant, and I'm here with Alex Rhodes.
Hello.
Welcome. Alex is a musician in Denver. He's super talented and he is amazing. And he went from corporate marketing / dude who's trying to figure it out to starting his own business as a musician. And he also does the marketing for his wife's business. So he is a full-out entrepreneur now. And you can find out more about him at musicbyalexrhodes.com. But thank you so much, Alex, for being here with us today. And I'm super excited for all that you have to share and what's in store for us during the session.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So first of all, give us a little bit of background. How long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since I was about 15. My dad taught me to play guitar. He always played guitar and I would watch him and I was like, I really want to do that.
Yeah. And did you ever think when you were 15 and you started learning guitar, that you would ever do this professionally?
I think when I was 15, I did. When I was 23 or 24, I was like, no shot. So.
Yeah. And how did you end up in corporate? Like, that's such a far jump from music as an artist to work in a corporate environment seems to just clash.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's surprising. There are a lot of people who are artists who work in that realm, but it was the typical go to college, get your degree. I got a degree in advertising and marketing, so that's where I ended up. And you can make, as a lot of people would say, you can make more money in marketing or with your degree than you can in music. I'm going to see if that's true or not.
Well, we know that there are definitely people who make plenty of money in music. It just depends on, how, the path that they take with that. So how did you, what made you realize, how long did you work in corporate? For
the last 17, 18. As soon as I got out of college, 22 to 38.
And did you know, was there any point in working in that environment, doing the marketing and advertising for them, that this just wasn't your thing, that you weren't going to be doing it forever?
I kind of have gone from, had a job for 4 to 5 years, and every 4 to 5 years I would start to just kind of get an itch to do something else. So I think there was that piece. But what do I do when I come home? I come home and I play guitar, and then I like to play in front of people. So I was booking shows, and I think that's the first indication to me that you're doing this because you want to. It's not like I'm making a ton of money going and playing these shows on the weekend. It's not even like a ton of people are coming sometimes, but I do it because I just have to do it. It's just something inside me. I have to go do it, or else I'm kind of an angry, miserable person.
Yeah. I'm also an artist. I do more visual arts.
Yeah.
And I have that same feeling. If I go too long without creating something, I remember the first time I realized this, I was in college. I was in art school and we were on a vacation. It was like winter break or something. And I noticed I started getting this twitch in my eye. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? And I realized, I'm like, I haven't made any art in like a month.
Yeah.
And it was affecting my health. I mean, I was becoming this like stress case because I wasn't doing, it's like, I always think of a border collie who is adopted or taken in by a family who lives in the city.
Sure.
And doesn't get to like do its thing. It goes crazy.
Yeah.
I think humans are the same way.
That's funny. A lot of artists talk about it like that, and I'd never thought of myself as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a different path and got pretty fortunate to be able to start a business that has some steady income in it, and try this on the side to bring in some supplemental income. But I I go through those spells where I'll write like 5 songs in a day, and it just kind of comes out. And then usually when that happens, I realize I haven't done anything like that for about a month or two, and
Mm-hmm.
you can start to see like it just builds up inside of you. And I think I had a conversation with my wife about songs just being in my head, and I was like, you know how a song gets in your head? And she was like, no, I don't really know that. I was like, what do you mean? I kind of live in this world where there's just always songs in my head. And I think some people have voices in their head, and
Right.
luckily I have good voices. I like the voices in my head. I just need to get them out.
So there are a lot of people who are watching and listening to this episode who have a similar experience where they just do the thing they're supposed to do. And I know you and I have talked a little bit about how it's like there were a lot of family expectations for
Yeah,
you. And so that's part of how you got on to this path with the marketing advertising. And that is such a common story. And then people get to this point where they don't really, they know they're not really doing something they want to do, but then they don't know who they are and what they're supposed to do, because they've been doing stuff that they like should do for so long. They
sure.
kind of lose themselves. So what was your process in figuring out like, okay, this just isn't working for me, I need to do the thing that I want to do, and like B, having the courage to do that?
Sure.
Because oftentimes the things that we want to do don't make sense, like they don't make logical sense in the like real world.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you bring that up because, the marketing side of what I do for my wife's business, it's career coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So living with someone who does that for a living, it's interesting because she can identify things that I'm doing and point them out, and I'm not in that world. And I was just thinking everything was fine, and
Mm-hmm.
there were a few months in a row where I was working 60-hour weeks, 65, 70 hours.
Wow.
And you're not a very nice person usually to the people
Mm-hmm.
you love when you do that for an extended period of time. Um, as far as family expectations go, I was pretty fortunate. My mom and dad paid for me to go to a pretty good school. So, they've invested a lot of time, money, and effort. And so your parents have these sort of expectations that you'll go
Right,
use
right.
that investment. And that's totally understandable now that I'm a dad and I'm saving for my kids' education. You better go use this. So there's that piece. And then I think for me, I didn't even realize that I was kind of in the wrong spot. My wife did. And she just kind of kept pointing out things like, you're you're kind of short tempered. You don't seem that happy. And I thought, oh no, I'm pretty good. Like, this is what you do. You go, you work your hours, and sometimes you have to work 60, 70 hours in a week for an extended period. And then I just started realizing that I wasn't sleeping very well.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't sleep, I'm really not a good person. So it's kind of a double whammy. And so I started meditating, of all things. I've never been like a big woo-woo kind of guy, but
Yeah.
I knew that I was just kind of not in a great place. Started meditating and realizing that, yeah, I'm not doing, something's not adding up, with what I'm spending my time doing. So I think that's how I came to that. And I'm sorry, what was your second question?
Oh, well, actually, first, I just want to point out a couple of things with what you mentioned is that it's so easy to become, to have this, like, I guess you could say toxic relationship with our careers become normalized. Like you're saying 60, 70 hours a week. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and that was 3 or 4 months at a time, and then
Right.
it was your typical 40 to 50. But
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's like, for a lot of people, for the person in it, that becomes like the normal thing, so you don't really think too much of it. But if you really step back and like your wife maybe watching it, it's like, I don't know about this,
Yeah, exactly. I believe those might have been her words. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I don't feel about this. But yeah, when you're in it, you're just doing it because that's the thing you're doing, and that's what people are paying you for.
Yeah, exactly. So my second part of the question was, how did you develop the courage to you took kind of a leap, right, from that one career, and now you're doing something totally different now?
Well, it was kind of introduced to me. The company I was working for, it was a bit of a startup, and so it was getting sold. So that was kind of okay, well, I'm probably not going to have a job here. What do I want to do? And
so it was like one of those blessings in disguise.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise. And so I was just able to take some time and start this business with my wife, which was something we never thought we would do. So it was just kind of one of those crux moments where it was, there's no better time than now to do this. We're not going to have this opportunity again.
I love how you just frame that is, we're never going to have this opportunity, where some people would be kind of freaking out like, oh my gosh, the company's changing and
I still freaked out.
Yeah. But still, it's like now, with that perspective. Sure. So you're going to, okay, before we get into the music aspect, Alex is going to play some music for us, which I'm super excited about. I'm like, let's just do it now. But first, for people who are in a similar situation where like maybe they're doing the thing that they always wanted to do, but they're getting to this point in the season of their life, or maybe they're just in a different place now and it's just not feeling right anymore. What's something that you think would help them to make a transition to something that is in a little bit more of alignment for them?
For me, it was, and I'll go woo-woo again.
Well, this is my podcast, so of course.
All right. We
love that stuff.
There was some meditation. I also did this thing called floating, which I don't know if a lot of your listeners know about, but you go in a room and you float.
It's like a float tank.
It's a float tank.
Okay. Yeah.
It's silent. There's no light. There's no sound unless you bring some music in, and you're floating. So all sensory to your brain is pretty much shut off, and you sit in there for 90 minutes, and it just kind of clears your head. And I tell people about it and they kind of freak out. They're like, 90 minutes. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird, especially the first couple times. But then for me, I have kids, so there's just constant commotion. You're always doing something with other people, and it's always good and it's fun, but you're always being stimulated. If you can take yourself out of that, if it's going on a trip for a couple days, my wife and I try to take a trip at least once a year, just by ourselves or with another friend, just to kind of remember like, oh, this is the person I am.
Right, yeah.
I forgot, you get so caught up in your day to day. So I think that's really important, taking that time and just shutting everything down, turn off the computer, the phone, all of that stuff. Even if it's just for a couple hours, some interesting things come out of your brain when you do that. Yeah,
it's like you can't, there's no way of escaping.
Yeah.
In that 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. You're not locked in.
Right. Like deadbolt the thing. And I love, that's such a unique, that's such like unique advice for that. But I can definitely see, I've heard from other people who've done those float pods, those float tanks. And like when's the last time that people have had 90 minutes to just, not do anything?
Yeah, and
be
it's, I
there.
mean, you got to schedule it. You got to check with your spouse. Hey, I need this time, and I need 15 minutes to get there and back.
Right,
So
right.
maybe it's 2 hours. Um, but just making sure, that you have that time and just shut down. We're not, the world that we're in, and hey, marketing, I'm always trying to be in your face about something that could interest you or something that could help you. And most people are experiencing that. I mean, you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you're on,
Right.
LinkedIn, constantly consuming information, constantly being told, hey, this thing can help you out. Well, that's great, but if you don't turn it off from time to time, you're on a hamster wheel and you're never getting off.
Oh my gosh, you nailed it. All
Yes.
right. So I'm going to turn my camera off, and
Okay.
Alex is going to get
All right, let me
started.
grab this. There's supposed to be something good ahead. There's supposed to be something good ahead. Weighing what you're leaving, what you'll find instead. There's supposed to be something good ahead. It's the abbreviated version. Oh, I think your sound went off, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was perfect for what we were talking about.
Yeah, speaking of woo, that's probably the most like positive, inspirational thing I've ever written. So
Yeah, so tell us just a little bit about it. And what was your inspiration for writing it?
yeah, usually I don't write a lot of stuff where I'm picking around on the guitar. I usually kind of have sort of an Americana rock kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, just sitting around watching TV or just hanging out in my basement, things will come out. And for some reason, I have this idea in my head that something's going to be better. It's always going to be better, and
Yeah.
we always have to think that. If you don't think that, it's going to be hard going. So just thinking there's something good ahead, and then I took some time by myself and just noodled around with the notes and the chords, and just kept practicing some finger picking. So that's that song. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so, there's actually somewhere, I don't remember the name of it, but there is a center around here where they actually heal people just by helping them come up with a life plan.
Sure.
And they, just by like giving people something to look forward to, they find that people will like overcome cancer or overcome these debilitating situations just by simply having something to look forward to.
Yeah. I mean, any of the mindset stuff you read, that just where your mind is and what you think is possible is going to change outcomes health wise, relationship wise, financially, etc. Um, and yeah, you have to believe that, because if you don't, it's you're back on that hamster wheel. I think,
Exactly.
says the guy who's been off that hamster wheel a whole 6 months. But
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like you would never know that by talking with you, because I think when people get off the hamster wheel, their instincts kick in, and maybe not for everybody. Some people have to like deprogram themselves, but I think our souls, our spirits, just they know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate everything that you shared with us today. This is, perfect timing for everybody who is watching and listening to this. I mean, really reflect on your situation right now and look at, am I doing what I want to be doing? Like what I truly want to be doing and know that like, this is my calling, or am I doing the thing that I should be doing that people have told me? Am I living up to their expectations or to my desires and my wishes?
Yeah. And I think, if you if you start to explore that, what you want to be doing, it's not like it's an easy path either. There's a lot of
Right.
detanglement that goes on mentally.
Exactly. And it's worth it. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you fighting for? Are you fighting for somebody else's dream? Or are you fighting for your own dream?
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you everybody for watching, listening. You can find more of Alex's work, again, at musicbyalexrhodes.com. And Rhodes is Rhodes. So go check him out there. And he's also on Facebook and LinkedIn, maybe.
Instagram.
There we go. All right, cool. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, guys, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a good one.
Thanks. Hold on. Now I need to figure out.